Aligning a lifted truck is different than a regular vehicle. Today, follow along as we do an alignment on this big bruiser. The first step in aligning this big truck is getting these alignment heads to fit with these massive wheels and tires. These are 26-inch fuel forged wheels and 35-inch mud tires. And for some shops, it can be a bit challenging. So we've spent a bunch of time making sure that we have all the adapters so that we can hook these targets on these wheels. So here's how these work. We're gonna stack them together, just like that. Stack that one on this one, and then clamp it on the tire and wheel assembly. Now that those are attached, we're going to do a roll comp, which means rolling the truck forward so that the cameras in the alignment machine can calculate exactly what the current alignment specs are. The alignment machine we use is the Hunter Hawkeye Elite. One really neat feature about it is it comes with this scanner. With this, we can scan the VIN of every single vehicle and it will populate the computer with all of the specs that the vehicle came with stock. This fancy simple tool is a brake pedal depressor. We're gonna put this in because we've got the vehicle exactly where we want it on the runways. This will lock the brakes in so the vehicle doesn't roll away. Todd's gonna fire up the truck to make sure the power steering system's working, and he's gonna use that to sweep the wheels the whole way to the left and the whole way to the right. While that's doing that, the alignment machine is measuring caster and camber and toe. This is what we call an alignment sweep. The specs that we have on the screen right now are live measurements of the current alignment specifications on the truck. This is essentially a starting point of where we need to be. Right now, we're looking at front camber, front caster, and toe. This truck has a lot of adjustable components to make sure that while it is lifted, we can make sure that the alignment specs are absolutely perfect. As you can see, this thing has these lower control arms and upper control arms on both sides. These are an aftermarket component. They have a massive amount of drop to it, and these lower control arms are as short as they get. And I think that's why this guy has a caster problem. So Todd's gonna get started taking the control arms out of this truck, and I assume he's going to shorten these uppers to roll caster back. When I'm under here looking at this truck too, I noticed that the front pinion angle is a bit too high. So by rolling caster back into the range that it should be, we're gonna fix a couple problems. A, we're gonna get caster right on this truck. And B, we're gonna make sure that the front drive shaft angle and front pinion angle is correct. It's really important on doing a lifted alignment to make sure that you have the adjustable components here to make this all happen. So sometimes when lift kits are pieced together from a bunch of different manufacturers, those items often get overlooked. And so if we don't have adjustable control arms, adjusting caster can be very, very difficult to do. So by adjusting these control arms, that is how we adjust the rotation like this of the front axle. There's a little alignment dance that I like to do that makes it easy to remember exactly what each term specified, and it has everything to do with your feet. So imagine if you're in the driver's seat, your feet are the tires and wheels. When we're talking about caster, we're talking about how far the front axle leans back, just like this. When we're talking about toe, we're talking about how the tires point towards each other or away from each other. And when we're talking about camber, we're talking about whether the tires lean out or in, just like that. I know it's kind of silly, but it's a little way that you can remember exactly what alignment terms mean. So we talked about caster. Next, we're gonna need to dig into toe. This tie rod here is exactly how we adjust toe. And once we get caster right, we're gonna make sure that we take this thing and adjust it so that the tires are just about straight. Generally, that's what we're aiming for on a solid axle vehicle alignment. So I think Todd needs to get started. We're gonna get some control arms out and get them adjusted. So Todd's all wrapped up. We achieved perfect alignment specs on our alignment machine, and the next job is to take out the brake pedal depressor, remove the wheel chocks, put this thing down on the ground, and take it out for a spin. Sometimes, even with a perfect alignment, you can still get a pull, and a lot of times that comes from tires. So we do our best to make sure that we get tires in the right position and the alignment specs exactly what the vehicle calls for stock. Now, like we said before, there is some subjectivity in what we do depending on lift height and the exact vehicle parameters, but all in all, we try and aim for a factory alignment spec. Todd's gonna pull this thing out and get this thing on the road. Hopefully this thing handles like a dream. We made a massive caster change, and that should really help how this vehicle drives in a straight line on its own. Having a good alignment on a lifted vehicle just like this is as important, if not more important, than having a good alignment on your factory daily driver. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you on the next one.